Hello and welcome to the first online Q&A for the Profit School. I'm Donna. I own and have just started to run the Profit School. We are in the business of making your business tick and empowering you to get to grips with your finances. We want to give you the tools to decipher all the complex stuff and develop a roadmap so you can chart your own course. We'll also be here to give you personalised support along the way if and when you need it. Finding and deciphering what you need in a financial sense online can get pretty overwhelming, and the answers tend to be buried in information that's either irrelevant or too complex, and it all becomes very time-consuming and intensive. That's where the Profit School does the hard yards for you. So we produce and curate content tailored for small Kiwi business owners. Perhaps you've just started a business. Perhaps you've been running it for a year or so and it's getting quite overwhelming. Or perhaps you've just got an idea, a really great idea, but you just don't know where to begin. So all of those situations, we would love to help. My main focus is that we deliver it to you in plain English. It's succinct, it's clear, it's dynamic, and it's available when you need it. So the idea is to put all of these tools and resources online on a platform where you can access them, what you need when you want it. We do this basically by giving you a fail-safe toolkit, which puts you in the driver's seat. So just to be clear, we want to be open and honest right from the start. I am not an accredited financial advisor. They're called AFAs for short, a lovely acronym, nor am I a chartered accountant. Since 2008 with the GFC, with the global financial crisis, a lot more regulation and compliance came in with regard to providing financial advice to people. So we like to think that we offer practical, affordable, day-to-day strategies and solutions for small business owners struggling to keep their head above water. My goal is to be a coach to empower you, so to give you the knowledge so that you're empowered to make your own decisions based off what you can glean and what you can get out of our tools and resources. So just a bit of background of me. I've had 15 years experience in many different types of businesses over the years. 5 of those were in banking and finance, from mortgages, declining and approving home mortgages, to credit cards, overdrafts, personal loans, and farming and business, machinery, asset finance, all of those. So I've had a range of finance industries as well. 3 of those years were in my own businesses. So I had a small fitness business, which I really enjoyed at the time. And I also had a small gym up in Auckland for a couple of years. So this is my 3rd business, and we're just going to start small while I work full time and just see where it leads. 7 of those years, in between all the 15 years since I've really been working full time, has been in different small businesses in varying industries. So I've been in their fitness importing business, machinery finance, an importing trailer company, an IT company, which also gave me a lot of exposure to new tech, and all of those. And now, I'm involved with a company, a growth company with some new innovative products trying to take over the world. So a lot of varied types of industries, which is I've just so thoroughly enjoyed seeing the different types of businesses and their models and how it works. And I guess I've got to see what has worked and what doesn't work, and can provide guidance around that with my background. So my mission is to help motivated entrepreneurs understand your small business finances. I want to teach you to create a roadmap for profitable and sustainable business success. And these are the things I've covered. Available when you need it, without all the jargon and technical language. So we'll go right back to the original plan of this training Q&A was to answer all the questions that I had been given over the last couple of months, really, via emails, phone calls, Facebook messages, text messages, all sorts. So I've had some great connections and met some great people already, and it's so exciting to already be helping a whole lot of you in your business. So we'll get straight into it with the questions. We'll cover 5 today. The first one being, I'm looking to set up a new company in New Zealand. Where do I begin? Now, this is a large question. It encompasses many things, but to that person who asked it, I would normally go back and ask them many other questions just to determine exactly where things are, because there's many ways to answer this question. The first place I would recommend is to be in touch with the company's office. They have amazing resources and tools, and they've just got better and better over the years. Sorry, the first point would be to check with your accountant or advisor that this is the correct entity structure for your business. So not all businesses need to be in a limited liability company, which is what you call a company in New Zealand. That's what it's known as, a limited liability. So, Donna Limited, that's a company structure. Not all businesses need to be like that. So first of all, I would check with your accountant or advisor, but also IRD can help you with that too. So you can ring and talk to them about that, about your situation, and they can provide you with support and guidance around that. You can check the company name that you wish to register. So let's determine that you do want to form a company. Then you go to the company's office.govt.nz, which the link is here, and I'll put down on the notes below. And you can check if the company name that you want is available to register. So we'll actually just go through now, and I will show you what it looks like. And we'll just find the link. All right, so here's the company's office, company register here, company's office. So if we come up to here, company's register, we click on that, it gets you down to this searchable function here where you can enter, so you can find any director or shareholder of a company in New Zealand here. So let's just say I wanted to incorporate the Profit School as a limited liability company. So I want to name it the Profit School Limited, say. And we can search that, and it says we can't find anything matching, which is helpful. It means that, oh yay, I can go ahead and register that company name. It will be available, so I have to reserve it first. So yeah, you can search all sorts. It's a great tool. And then it also takes you through how to incorporate a company when you've decided, which just means forming it legally and correctly. So when you've got your name and you know what you're doing, you can click through here and it'll take you through. So you do need your RealMe password, and that's a security kind of access. So we'll go back to the presentation. So that's a great tool. So you reserve the company name first, which is $10 plus GST. Recently, fees have slightly reduced to form companies in New Zealand, so that's always good. It's not very costly at all, as you'll see. And then once the name is reserved, you have a certain period to then incorporate the company and register it online, and it's $105 plus GST. So as you can see, it's not very expensive. While you register the company on the company's office website, you can also apply for an IRD number, which is your GST number if you become GST registered. So you can also register for GST online as you form the company. So you've got making the company a legal entity by registering it. You can apply for your IRD number, and you can apply to become GST registered, all on the one application now. So it's made super easy. And then the next thing I would suggest is that you open a business bank account. Now, if it takes a while or you're not sure what to call your company name, and you've already got business transactions that you'd like to keep separate, I would suggest it opening a bank account, a new clean bank account in your own name, so that you've got a method of keeping track of those things. And then the next thing I would suggest you do is, if you're looking to get a website, then I would check that your website domain name is available. So you can check that on freeparking.co.nz, and a domain like theprofitschool.co.nz I think is about $30 a year to keep that domain as yours. So it's fairly inexpensive as well. All right, so that's where you need to go. And we'll move on to the second question. I'm starting my part-time business on the side of my full-time job. What do I put away for tax? This depends on your situation. It depends on how much you're earning. It depends on whether you're earning personally or you'll be earning in a company name. So yes, you need to determine if you're doing your side project in your personal name, which means it'll be personally taxed in terms of what the IRD dictate are the personal income tax rates, or whether it's in a company name. So if it's in a company name, there's a flat income tax rate of 28%. Ooh, let's go back here. So we'll do an example. If you're earning $40,000 per annum in your paid employment, and then you go off to start your side business and you earn $8,000 in that first year. So that means your total earnings for the year comes to $48,000. You can use the IRD calculator online to determine that you should be saving 17.5% of your $8,000 that you're earning on the side. And that is because your earning income threshold sits under that $48,000 bracket. So this is pulled from the IRD website. You can see that income between $14,000 and $48,000 is taxed at 17.5%. So to be safe, I would say put away 20%, or a fifth of what you're bringing in each day, each week, each month. Put it away into a separate bank account. So that's one example. Another example is where it changes dramatically, is where you are earning over the threshold of the $48,000. And in this case, let's say you were earning $80,000 in your salaried job, then it's very different. You would be in that highest tax bracket of 33%. Therefore, you need to be saving of the business income you're making. Let's assume it's $8,000 as well. You need to be putting a third of that away for tax, because your personal income is over that threshold and it's at the highest rate. So I hope that is clear. Next question, how do I create a one-off invoice? It's pretty simple to do it manually in a Word document, but it can also be done in Xero. So I'll show you both ways, and I will also send or attach a Word document template for you, so you can just switch in, put a logo in or your name, change the details, and you'll be away. So here's the example that I will attach. It needs to have a tax invoice. It needs to be made out to the person, your client or customer. It has to have a date. So I've just got my logo there. You can change that to yours. Invoice number, make it up if you don't know, which I have here. GST, it has to have your GST or IRD number. At the moment, I'm trading in my personal name, so it's Donna Swartz Sole Trader, and my brand is The Profit School, but it's my personal IRD number that goes on my tax invoices. Then you've got your description, any GST, if you are GST registered. If you don't know if you are, then you're probably not, but please just check. And then the total due. You also want to have the due date of when the payment's required, and naturally you want to tell them how they can pay you, so your bank account number ideally with a reference, maybe the invoice number or their name. So I'll attach this as a Word document for you. The other way, which I will show you, is to go into Xero, and you want to go to your general settings. So if you're familiar with Xero or you use it yourself, you go into your general settings. It'll take you to this screen. You want to scroll down a little bit to features, and under invoice settings we can go and set up our brand from here, which is what I've done. There will be one automatically set up for you, but you can change pretty much everything. So you go to options and edit. It'll pull up all your changes. You want what name you want, the margins, the size of the font, whether you show a logo or not, and also your terms and payment go down here. So when it's due, which I've just set as an example here, payment due 7 days, and bank account number, all of your personal details, and whether you want to disclose GST or tax if applicable. So that's super easy. You can change the logo. You can also have a different one if you have different brands. So you might sell the Profit School, and then there might be another one just under Donna Swart. So I might have and create a new branding theme that is based off this one as well. So that's another way you can do it. So we'll go back to the questions. Number 4, what about all the money I've spent setting up my new business from my own personal account? How do I account for this properly? So the first thing I would do is just say record, record, record. So just capture it, take a picture of your receipt or invoice. I would scan it into your phone even, and keep it on Dropbox or something like that. Then that way you don't have to stress if you've forgotten where the receipt is or it's been binned. Ideally, I would suggest actually setting up a completely separate bank account and pay only out of that bank account, or reimburse yourself from that bank account, so there's always a way to track. And if you haven't got Xero started or opened, I would just suggest keeping a spreadsheet in Excel and just track with a date, the place you bought it from, what was it for, and how much, just so you've kind of got a tally. It's also important at the end of the year to pass it on to your accountant if they're going to do your annual accounts for you. Otherwise, if you're going to do your IRD return, income tax return for the company or yourself, then we can work through that then, and you've got all the details there already. So yeah, if you do have an accountant, talk to them and they'll advise how they wish you to pass on those details for them. Otherwise, I can help you. So if you actually want to know more about this and a way of doing this and what you do at the end of the year or within Xero, how to journal this in, then please send me a message or comment under this video, and I can do a separate training. It might only be 10 minutes where I can run through an example. In fact, if you have an example or you are trying to do this right now, then it would be great if we could work through it and share it as a case study perhaps, even if we don't need to disclose any details, but that would be really helpful for other people, I'm sure. Right, and then so the last question we've got is a little bit more complicated. It is about depreciation, which I'm sure you've all heard of, but maybe not really understood it. So what the heck is depreciation and how does it work? And is it a good thing or a bad thing to have assets that depreciate? I would say, firstly, it's neither good nor bad. There are better ways to structure things, and just in the case of setting up a company, whether you be personal or a limited liability company, it depends on the situation. So really, if you have the cash flow to buy something, many would go ahead and buy it. For example, a laptop, say for $1,000. However, you can lease those sorts of things and they also depreciate. So there are different ways, but it is quite complex. An overarching summary of depreciation is the cost of an asset over its useful life. So rather than saying the laptop cost you $1,000 in year one, we'll give it an estimated useful life, for example, 3 years. And these some of these things are dictated by IRD, is how we can depreciate, at what rate, and then we would depreciate it over the useful life of that asset. So it's allocating it to each year of the business as the asset is effectively used up, or wear and tear has brought it down to zero value effectively. So it is quite in depth, but I can do a new training video on that next month, which will do some live examples. For example, purchasing a car versus leasing a car, a laptop, and then we might do another couple of others as well. I guess the important thing here is to discuss with your accountant if you're not sure, but if you don't have one, or they charge $300 an hour and as soon as you pick up the phone to them, then ask me and we can go over it, and there's also some really helpful things online. So I think we've come to the end of the questions. So we'll just recap. Setting up a new company, where do I begin? So first of all, I'd just confirm that yes, if you do want to set up a company, just be sure about that, so get some advice around that. companiesoffice.govt.nz, fantastic tool and resource, and so is the IID website as well. Starting my part-time business, how much do I put away for tax? I would recommend putting away 30% if you're in that $70,000 income bracket, and definitely a third, so 33% if any more. You always want to make sure you're putting away a little bit more than what you know you probably need to pay. The last thing you want to do is come to the end of the year and have a tax bill to pay, which we see happen all the time. How do I create a one-off invoice? So I've gone over that with the Xero under the settings there, and we'll attach a Word template to this video. And what about all the money I've spent setting up the new business from my personal account? How do I account for this? That's just keeping really good records, Excel spreadsheet, and your receipts and invoices. And I'll go through a more in-depth one about how to bring that into your books into Xero if people are interested. And the last one about depreciation. So I'll cover that off and go in more in depth in a few weeks' time in a new training video. So thank you very much for joining and listening. I hope you've got some value out of this training, or at least one of the questions has been helpful. If it's brought up other questions for you that you want to cover or get help with, or you're stuck on, or that you know is going to become a problem at some point soon, especially if it's before Christmas and you want to get it done before going on holiday, then just email me, message me, ideally through Facebook so I can capture it all. And just to let you know that I will be launching a platform online where you can sign up, and there will be all sorts of tools and resources at this stage for free, but there will be some kind of membership launch. And those who are on my current subscription list on email will get the first look for a couple of months free, so that you can give me some feedback and let me know how valuable you've found things and how I can offer you more value. So thank you very much. We'll be in touch with another couple of videos, but put your feedback, questions, what you didn't like about this, what might be more useful, and I'll make sure I provide all the resources below this video. Thank you very much.